Son of a bill.
There are thousands of swear words spoken by people every single day, but hearing it in an animated movie is something that always catches you off guard. And today, we're gonna dive into Pixar movies where the cartoon characters try to swear. Now, regardless of how you feel on this issue, you have to admit that it is a little shocking to hear characters looking like this say things like this.
You lying, slimy son of a...
Whether we want to coin it as mild bad words or even allude to things that are usually in R-rated movies, let's take a look at some of these examples together. The first Pixar movie on the list comes from The Incredibles, where Elastigirl and Evelyn have a chat. As the two ladies brainstorm, one of them blurts out something that isn't so nice.
Finish our interview by phone.
Promote the hell out of it.
Independence from screen slavery.
She says the word hell. Now, before I address this, right off the bat, we can see that the characters are drinking, which immediately let me know I was watching a movie that wasn't necessarily geared towards kids only. So hearing them curse immediately after this, it's obvious that the writers understood that an older demographic was probably watching this movie. I mean, who did they think is going to drive their kids to the theater? Kids can't afford that. So they wanted to keep older audiences entertained. But how do you feel about this type of language? Is it a big deal? Most likely not. Plus, we already know that Evelyn isn't the nicest character, so there you go. Moving on to another movie, comes from the Cars franchise.
Holy shoot!
Now, hearing a character say holy shoot is hilarious. It turns out that the original Cars movies, even back in 2006, had characters cursing. It seems that Pixar is really trying to say something without saying it. Maybe the writers on these movies want to tell us a story that they're not allowed to. They want to say things that they're itching to let slip out, but they can't. Remember that strict guideline down at Pixar Studios. And also, if these are family-friendly movies, there's no way they would actually say a bad word. Am I right? Anyways, obviously these cars are using substitute bad words so they don't get in trouble. Now, I know that some of these entries on this list so far might be tame to some viewers, but I promise you that on this list, there are some things that are said that are gonna make your jaw drop. One of those things comes from the movie called Elementals. As you might have guessed, this movie deals with elements. It looks bubbly, family-friendly, and cartoony. One might assume that this movie is kid-friendly. However, one of the main characters says this.
I'm ready for you to actually buy something if you'd ever get up off your lazy ash.
Get up off your lazy ash. Now, this is the first time where I can confidently say that they went a little far in this scene. Not in the sense that I want this removed. I actually think this is hilarious and should be kept in. But I think that this is pivoting from what Pixar has set the standard for. They're now being very bold. I believe in the last 10 years on this planet, real life has been so rough and pressure has been on in every aspect of that word that producers and writers were like, dude, we're tired, we don't care anymore, let's just start cussing. Or at least let's add in a word that sounds extremely close to the word ass, which refers to a donkey. Now, don't get me wrong, this is nothing compared to what DreamWorks has done. I mean, they will straight up say the actual word ass. Have you seen Shrek? But we know that Pixar is a little bit more bubbly with their movies. They don't want even a hint to something that's seen as profanity, except in Elementals where the characters are literally substituting out bad words. But let's move on to another movie called Toy Story. Now, this one shocked me. I had no idea that the beloved Toy Story would come up on this list, but believe it or not, even in the older Toy Story movies, there was some craziness going on, and the characters would say things that are wild.
Son of a building block. It's Woody.
He's in the psycho's bedroom.
If there is one character I would expect to curse, it's this guy, Mr. Potato Head. Son of a building block? That is hilarious. Very well in character. I think someone needs to watch their language because this is very close to a bad word. In fact, I don't know how more people don't talk about these things in these movies. I'm literally one of the first YouTubers to highlight these curse words being said in these animated films. And people were actually very curious about it. They were like, huh, there are bad words in here, or at least substitutes. Now, if you're wondering why Mr. Potato Head was doing this, it's because he was simply caught off guard, which is a good excuse to curse, actually. Whenever someone stubs their toe or does something ridiculous, a natural response is to say something pretty wild. So it doesn't shock me to see him react this way. I actually think this makes the movie way better. This scene actually reminds me of Moana, where she got trapped in the cave by Maui.
You lying, slimy son of a...
Okay, Moana literally just cursed here. Don't pretend like you didn't hear it. The Rock is blocking it, lol. Seeing Moana just made me want to go watch it again. I just finished watching Moana 2, and I know it was supposed to be a TV show initially that they made into a movie, but it was still somewhat enjoyable. I liked the animation at least, and it had a couple catchy songs. Do any of you guys want to watch a movie that has just as much heart as Moana, with a princess living on an island? Well, look no further, I got you. There's a movie out there that is free to watch on YouTube. Click the link down below. Check out Jalissa's Hidden Island. You can watch this free animated movie. It's about a princess who must protect her island from sinking. Now that is dangerous. It gets pretty dark. Go check it out after you watch this video, and leave a nice comment under that video telling me your thoughts on it. I created this movie for you in Blender. But don't leave just yet, we still got more curse words to watch from Pixar. Next up on the list is Ratatouille. One of my favorite movies, man. I always forget about this classic for some reason. I think more people need to talk about Ratatouille. Now, if you don't know anything about this film, it's about a rat who is literally cooking. I know, hilarious. However, the chef says something pretty tasty. He straight up talks about hell.
Welcome to hell. Now, recreate the soup.
That man was not sugarcoating. He told him what he was getting himself into. Yeah, I don't think you need me to tell you that hell is a bad place. And if it's a bad place, doesn't that also imply that hell is a bad word in a sense? Look, I understand it's not coined as profanity, but it is a bad place. And it does give an eerie feeling anytime someone hears that word. That's probably why the chef said it, because we know in Ratatouille how chaotic things got in that kitchen. I am very glad they included it here. It makes sense, and it wasn't forced just to shock us. Oh, they're cussing. Oh, they want to say a substitute. Nah, man, they added that in because it makes freaking sense. Look at me using substitutes now. Now, my final example of a curse word from a Pixar movie comes from Monsters, Inc. The first one, not Monsters University, okay? It happens when a monster tells another monster to shut up.
Shut up!
Nah, I'm just kidding. That's dumb. But there is a scene in Monsters, Inc. where Pixar literally had to cut out a bad word that nobody even realizes. I figured it out when I slowed it down. Check this out. It happens when Mike Wazowski is caught off guard.
What the? Wazowski!
Now, I didn't edit this out. You may be wondering what he said after the two words, what the. Here's the reality. As an animation guru, I was able to pinpoint what they actually recorded. What is my source of reference for this? Well, it's the clip itself. As I slowed down the movie using the power of computer technology and zoomed in, whenever a character is animated moving, it implies that they are talking. And Mike is clearly still talking after he utters the words, what the. There is supposed to be a third word in there based on the animation length. See, he's moving his body around and his cheeks are still animated. What did he say after what the? It's almost as if someone went into the editing software and edited out the F word. Oh, Pixar, it seems like you really want to curse. It seems like you really want to be like DreamWorks, because they don't care. I'm telling you right now, DreamWorks does not care. They will cuss. Anyways, we're at the end of the video. Please go ahead and check out Jalissa's Hidden Island. I worked very hard on that film with a very, very, very small team. It is a free ocean princess movie. Don't miss it for the world.